and welcome back to Gun Bunny Customs. And in today's episode, we're going to be discussing or bringing up the possibility of the idea of a Build-A-Figure wave for the G.I. Joe Classified and what that could bring to the line. Now, at this point, 2 years in, we're still lacking vehicles, lacking playsets, still a lot of collectors sort of complaining about that, you know what I mean, and talking about that. We have the Hiss that's on its way next fall. The Trouble Bubble was announced. The Pintor and his Chariot was announced. So I guess there are two small vehicles kind of coming our way. I'm hoping that the Trouble Bubble is something that's going to be easily available, because obviously I'm going to want a whole bunch of those and customize and stuff like that. So I hope it's not some strange, exclusive in some way. It's going to be something that's widely available. But because things have gone on the way that they've gone over the last 2 years, for however long you've collected this line, like I said, one of the biggest complaints or issues has been the lack of vehicles and battlefield accessories and all that kind of stuff. So why not introduce a Build-A-Figure wave to sort of bridge that gap, to sort of give Hasbro another avenue of satisfying collectors' demands of getting these things. Now, for the sake of this video, I've selected the Snake Armor as the end result of the Build-A-Figure. I mean, so it's sort of a build-a-vehicle line, right? So G.I. Joe Build-A-Vehicle line or whatever. So, and I chose the Snake Armor because it's modular, so it would lend itself well to being able to be fit in the packaging, you know what I mean? Being able to divvy it up. And if you're not familiar, the Snake Armor came out in '83, if I'm not mistaken. There was this version, and I think later there was like a dark blue version that was like from some kind of mail away. But it had different accessories that you could put on for the hands of it. And there were, different weapons and things like this claw. And so you can see here where there was like a gun, a claw, a missile, and like a flamethrower. And I mean, and it was awesome, right? I mean, it was modular. The figure could fit inside, or it came with this little stand that you could put in there. So then that way you didn't have to sort of waste a figure to put in there to make it stand. But something like the Snake Armor in and of itself is an army builder. So what if the classified team was able to come up with, say, like a 5-figure Cobra army builder wave, right? And the end result being the sort of Cobra army builder vehicle, like a Snake Armor, or a Fang, a Claw, whatever, so, a Ferret, some kind of small vehicle like that people are going to want to buy multiples of. So then you would be creating a situation where the end result of the Build-A-Figure, Build-A-Vehicle, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, would be something that people are going to want to buy multiples of, and the figures themselves inside of the wave are going to be something that people are going to want to buy multiples of. It would be, I think, a situation that would generate a lot of revenue, would generate a lot of interest back into this line, you know what I'm saying, and would really help kick the the line up another notch. Because right now, with just the Hiss being announced or whatever, $300, that's pretty deep for some people, especially in these times. And we don't know what the price point of the Serpentor and Trouble Bubble are going to be, but I would imagine that the Serpentor is going to be pretty expensive, probably like $100-$120 is my guess. I don't know about that Trouble Bubble. I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if it's a like a 2-man pack, you know what I mean, like they did with the Ram or whatever, or if it's just going to be a standalone thing. And honestly, if it's a standalone thing, I would be buying probably at least 12. Or if it came with like a Televiper or something like that, I would still buy 12, because I would want 12 Televipers too. So create a situation like that where you're focusing on, not focusing, but you're creating a situation where you're going to be creating a wave that people are going to be okay with buying multiples of, right? So the average guy can't afford a $300 Hiss tank, right? But the average guy could afford to army build those 5, Cobra army builders, to army build a small vehicle that would look great on the shelves, that would add playability to it, to the line and stuff like that. Because there are already so many people, so many collectors that are army building this line, that would just create a whole nother engine of revenue for the line. Now, how would we get a G.I. Joe counterpart to that, right? Because Cobra, you can have army builders, because they were just, Vipers or whatever. They were sort of nameless and faceless, right? With G.I. Joe, you don't have that, right? Because you had specific characters. So what if Hasbro were to introduce a 5-man G.I. Joe green shirt wave, right? And I did one on, I actually did that, a 5-man wave, and I'll post a picture. I did it, I don't know, maybe about a year ago, and it was awesome. And it would be another situation where people would army build those 5 green shirts, right, to get the end result of whether it was a pack rat or maybe like the armadillo tank or something, like some small vehicle, like that, right? Because people are going to want to army build those small vehicles. That's going to be the end result of those 5 figures. So we'll create 5 G.I. Joe green shirt army builders, right? It's something that people can afford. They don't have to spend all like $300 all up front. They can pick them up figure by figure, collect it wave by wave or whatever it was. And it would give the collector the ability to buy multiples of, which is what I'm guessing would be, the part that generates the revenue, right? So create that situation, sort of quench that thirst of both of those things that collectors are asking for in one shot. Collectors are asking for more army builders, right? And more of them, more product of them, which means they want to buy more. And the end result being a vehicle or a battlefield accessory that people would want to army build in and of itself, I think would be a great asset to sort of have the classified team there at Hasbro deploy. So what do you think? Do you think that's something that could help Hasbro bridge the gap between what the fans are asking for and what the fans are getting? Because I do. I think this is something that could be great for the line. I think it's something that should have already sort of been introduced, and especially from Hasbro, who created that, with the Marvel Build-A-Figure wave. I think it should be something that should be implemented with G.I. Joe Classified as well. All right. Well, that's it for tonight, and thank you for watching.